What's going on, everybody? C4 here today on a sad day. We're gonna get some closure, but it's a sad day. It is the series finale of the Philadelphia Eagles Can't Get Franchise Mode, but we're making sure we go out with a boom. Kind of winning the Super Bowl last season. That's the goal. That was the end goal, just to finally get the Eagles Super Bowl. It didn't come easy. It took us goddamn 60-some episodes to finally win a Super Bowl. 3 attempts, but we were able to do it. But much like my reasoning for ending the rebuilds, which you guys enjoyed before the Madden 18 season, same goes for the Eagles Connected Franchise Mode, because every year we'll be doing rebuilds and we're doing the Eagles Connected Franchise Mode. So the bigger buffer I have between, stopping these until the next game, it makes for a better product, so I'm not getting bored doing the same kind of content. Like if I was doing rebuilds and the Eagles Connected Franchise Mode right up to like the week before Madden, when next year's Madden comes out, because we damn know that the Connected Franchise Mode is not getting any new features, it's gonna feel like I'm just still doing the same old shit. So what we're going to be doing is ending it today. We're doing 10 years of simulation. We will be quickly looking at the final season stats to see and keep track of all the Super Bowls that we may or may not win. But that is how we're going to end it up, so that the content on the channel, you're going to be seeing Huskies will be the dominant one, because, I guess the end goal for any real Connected Franchise Mode is to at least win the Super Bowl, and then in turn, if you have enough time, you can build a dynasty. So that's what we're going to see within this simulation. But the Huskies are far ways away from that, so plus it's a little bit better of a creation, because I don't have the updated rosters, because we started this so long. So I am the Eagles, but I don't have Alshon Jeffrey, don't have Timmy Jernigan, don't have guys like that. But thank you guys for all the love and support here for the best, I'm going to go on a limb, say the best Eagles Connected Franchise Mode on the YouTube. So how I'm going to be doing this, it's going to be I'm going to edit it and tweak it and all that stuff. I'm going to simulate to the Super Bowl every year. And what we're going to do is see the Super Bowl, and we'll look back on the regular season stats for our guys. I'm going to try to sign and retain as many of these guys as I can throughout the 10-year process. Because 10 years, roughly the goal for this was for me to play until Carson Wentz retired. About 10 years from now, he should be getting pretty damn close. We're just going to go till he retires. 10 years, it's just we're throwing a number out of a hat right now. But let's see if we can make Carson Wentz one of the greatest of all time. So here we are in season 2019, and we're going to see what we can do this year. Can we repeat as Super Bowl champs? Only one way to find out. So here we are at the end of the 2019 season, and guess what happened? Let's look. Maybe a certain team won the goddamn Super Bowl again. Back-to-back seasons. The Philadelphia Eagles went 1-3 in the preseason. In the regular season, we went 10-3. That's good enough to make the Super Bowl, right? We got in the playoffs with a what was that record? 10-6. 10-3. Come on, do the math. 10-6. So we won the NFC East, another NFC East title ring. We get to the Super Bowl. What happens here? Postseason. Play the Carolina Panthers. Win 29-24. Play the Atlanta Falcons. Win 20-20 or 30. Oh my God, I can't fucking speak up so high. Win 30-23. And then the Super Bowl, a rematch of last year. The Eagles and Steelers once again, a 31-19 victory. That is 2 Super Bowls. Throw it up. Let's look at the player stats from this Super Bowl. Carson Wentz, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 278 yards. Ben Roethlisberger, not a good game. In terms of running the ball, 133 yards and a touchdown from Le'Veon Bell. 101-2 from McCaffrey. Looks like he got himself a what do you call it? Super Bowl MVP award. Not great in terms of receiving. And on the defensive end, 13 what do we got for sacks? Let's see what we got for sacks. 2 sacks from Brandon Graham, a sack from Fletcher Cox, and we got a pick from Ishmael Church, who had to step in as the nickel cornerback. So another Super Bowl victory. Let's take a quick look here at the regular season stats before we jump right in quickly to season 2020. On the year, Carson Wentz, 4,600 passing yards, 44 touchdowns to go along with 17 interceptions. Interceptions still a little bit high there for Wentz, but not bad. In terms of running the ball, 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns from Christian McCaffrey, 400 yards and 10 touchdowns from the free agency signing Jordan Howard. In terms of receiving, we got 90 catches, 698, and 7 from Antonio Callaway. Zach Ertz breaking the 1,000-yard mark as a tight end and 6 touchdowns. Brashad Perriman, the guy we brought in to replace DGB, 1,100 yards, 19 touchdowns. Mother of God. Jordan Matthews, 953 and 3, 441 and 3 from Christian McCaffrey. And on the defensive side of the ball, 104 tackles from Jordan Hicks. We got 13.5 sacks from BG, 10.5 sacks from Fletcher Cox, along with 26 tackles for loss 14 tackles for loss and 9 sacks from Benny Logan. 9 sacks here for Vinny Curry. We also got 5 picks from Marlon Humphrey, 2 from Zach Cunningham, and a bunch of other ones along the way. What we will look quickly is the yearly awards just to see who did what. Carson Wentz got himself his first MVP award, rightfully deserved. We got Brad Kaya there, Deshaun Watson, Le'Veon Bell, Christian McCaffrey, not bad, and Coach of the Year. Oh, the Dougler got beat out, but we all know who was ahead at the end of the season. So 2019 was excellent. We're building a dynasty, 2 Super Bowls in 2 years, back-to-back victories over the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now let's see what happens when we get to 2020. We are back for year number 5, coming off 2 back-to-back Super Bowl victories. This dynasty is ready to do it all over again in the 2020 season. Looking at the offseason, not a lot of moves happened. We essentially were able to, we didn't touch basically anyone on the offensive line, I don't think, or anyone just on the offense in general. Everyone came back. On the defense, we spent pretty much all of our available money to retain Jalen Mills, who is set to be a free agent. We brought back Eric Rowe, which we needed to get. Unfortunately, Malcolm Jenkins' time has come to an end. Did not want to come back on an affordable 1-year deal, so we have Jamal Adams now as the starting strong safety, and we basically only got 2 picks that made the roster. The middle linebacker, we got Tyler Costanzo, 70 overall, who we drafted in the first round. Depth for Jordan Hicks, and then we also got this guy, Cornelius, for depth at the defensive tackle spot behind Benny Logan, who's a 69 overall. So let's get ready to rock and roll here in 2020 and try to bring another Super Bowl to Philadelphia. 3 in a row. Patriots, what? All right, so here we are at the end of season number 5, the 2020 season. And where have we placed? We're at the Super Bowl, and it's looking like 2 years was as much as we're going to be able to do. We finished the season with 11-5 record, so yet another NFC East title for the Philadelphia Eagles, led by Carson Wentz. We'll just look at the team schedule here. So we went 3-1 in the preseason. We saw what we did in the regular season. Saw look at that, the 53-35 victory over the Cowboys. We're a high-flying, high-scoring offense here. Lots of big wins down the stretch, but in the postseason, we beat the Packers 24-21 in the wild card. We beat the Saints 35-29 in the playoff, but then the Seahawks were able to bump us in the conference championship 43-24. This was all she wrote on this season. Big game from Russell Wilson. Defense was unable to come up big. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Wentz did not have a good game at all. Running the ball, McCaffrey, not bad. 137 and 2 touchdowns. Rawls went for 83 yards and a touchdown as well. Perriman has been a monster. Let's just say right now, Perriman, I wish we got him a couple years sooner. Defensive side of the ball, who got them picks? We got for sacks. Who got those crucial interceptions? Wagner, Earl Thomas got those key picks for the Seahawks, as the Super Bowl is, I believe I saw the Seahawks going against the Texans, which sucks. But you're not going to win them all, all right? You're not going to win them all. Let's look at the final regular season stats here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz, another very good season for him. 4,600 passing yards, going with 36 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Interceptions are starting to get a little bit less, which is nice. In terms of running the ball, 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns from Christian McCaffrey. We got receiving, Jordan Matthews, 94 catches, 1,400 yards, and 13 touchdowns. And Tolu Callaway also added 93 catches, 735 and 2. Zach Ertz, 817 and 4. And Brashad Perriman, 950 yards will round up, and 7 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, Nigel Bradham, 125 tackles, 116 from Hicks, 101 from Jamal Adams. On a sacks front, we got 12 sacks from Brandon Graham, 9.5 from Fletcher Cox, 5 from Benny Logan. And for interceptions, 3 from Jordan Hicks, 3 from Jalen Mills, 3 from Marlon Humphrey, 2 for the returning Eric Rowe, and a couple picks here down the stretch. Quickly looking at the final awards, the big daddy of awards. The MVP went to Aaron Rodgers, with Carson Wentz coming at number 2. Baker Mayfield for the Saints coming in at number 3. Sam Darnold, number 6. Jake Browning, number 7. It is a young man's league here at the quarterback spot. Kaiser at 10. McCaffrey, I think that's back-to-back years. He's coming in at number 9. But great season there for everyone. Even though we fell a little bit short. Do we dare? We're actually we'll say next season will be the season we start looking at career stats and seeing where guys are coming out. I'm looking at Fletcher Cox for sacks, Carson Wentz in terms of the passing categories. We have maybe Jordan Matthews when it comes to receiving. But next season we will start comparing and seeing where our guys are at in comparison to the Philadelphia Eagles statistical record holders. So now let's jump ahead to the offseason and get ready for season 6 in 2021. All right, guys, here we go. Getting ready for season number 6 in 2021. Coming off of last season's NFC Championship loss to the Seattle Seahawks, the Philadelphia Eagles are looking to bounce back once again. Looking at the roster, not a whole lot has changed. Again, it's been more so retaining the type of players that we need. We still have a bunch of XP that we will actually spend right now. Let's get rid of that XP. Let's spend that shit. Let's get some guys to grow a little bit. But yeah, this offseason here was predominantly retaining what we had. We re-signed Vinny Curry because we want to see if we can get him a little bit farther up the all-time Eagles sack list. He's a depth guy. We'll probably get a sack or two to chip in. We had to resign. Basically, we had 3 guys we had to bring back: Zach Ertz, Christian McCaffrey, and Lane Johnson. And we were able to retain all 3 of those guys, which is good. I'm a little bit worried about this upcoming free agency period because we don't have a whole lot of Skrilla. But we'll see what we can do. Didn't add a whole lot in terms of rookies. Our best rookie that we were able to bring in was this guy, Troop from, how do I look at this guy even better? Oh, is it X? Is it Y? Is it A? This guy, D'Angelo Troop, 73 overall free safety, was the biggest guy that we were able to add to our roster, which is nice because Ronnie McLeod is getting a little bit longer in the tooth. But I think this roster can certainly hold up against anyone else. But it is on the downturn, I would think, which happens after the, a dynasty, if you will, a 2-year peak period. It's going to be tough to continue to stay at that high level of play. But let's see what we can accomplish here in 2021, Season 6 of the Philadelphia Eagles Connected Franchise Mode. So here we are at season 2021, the end of year number 6, and it looks like we just lost out in the Super Bowl, or to the Super Bowl. Another NFC East title, 12-4. The dominance continues. Let's look at the playoff schedule. What had happened? The Super Bowl is the Rams and the Steelers, and we lost by 1 point to get back another conference championship loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. A 31-30 defeat. That is frustrating. What happened in the game here? Goff had himself a good game, 235, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 220 and 2 for Carson Wentz. Turns to run the ball, 104 yards from McCaffrey, 96 from Todd Gurley. Receiving yards, Leonte Carew, 8 catches for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mother of God. Defensive side of the ball, what do we have? Who had a standout performance? Anybody? A sack for Robert Quinn and a pick for Jordan Hicks. That is all she wrote. As once again, NFC East title is decent. But, we got to win the Super Bowl again. We got to, come on. Stop being NFC. Stop losing the championship game. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, all right, let's look at the stats here again. After a big, baller season, it's probably going to be pretty decent looking stats here. Carson Wentz, 4,400 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. Run the ball, 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns from Christian McCaffrey. 516 and 13 from the backup Jordan Howard. One of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL. In terms of receiving, 84 catches, 819 yards, and 6 touchdowns from Zach Ertz, 683 and 3 from Callaway, 1,112 from Rashad Perriman, and 959 and 10 from Jordan Matthews. And on the defensive front, we got 147 tackles from Jordan Hicks, 120 from Su'a Cravens. On the sacks front, we got 10.5 from Brandon Graham, only 7 from Fletcher Cox, but that 23 tackles for loss is real big. 6.5 sacks here from Benny Logan. And Vinny Curry, there we go. We brought him back just to see what we could do. This got to be his final year. I would assume we only signed him on a 1-year deal. So when it gets to that point, that's when I'm going to try to make a career perspective attempt. And we will look at Vinny Curry before this season is done. And on the interceptions front, we got 3 picks from Jamal Adams, 2 from Cravens, 2 from Humphrey, 2 from Rodney McLeod, 1 from Hicks, and 1 from Jalen Mills. Some of these guys, it's coming to the end of some of our big guys on the defensive side of the ball. For the yearly awards, the MVP went to Ben Roethlisberger. Jake Browning of the Giants came at number 3. Baker Mayfield 5. McCaffrey 7. And this is the first one Wentz didn't even make. Come on, that's just bias right there. So what we will do quickly is we will look at Vinny Curry. I think this may be the last season of Vinny Curry's career. So let's look at the defensive side of the ball. Vinny Curry has finished. What do we got here? We'll just say roughly 56 total sacks for Vinny Curry, which would bring him to number 4 all-time for the Philadelphia Eagles. So a very illustrious career there for Vinny Curry. He may still be around for 1 more year, but he's roughly going to finish at the number 4 spot in terms of sacks for the Philadelphia Eagles. So thank you, Mr. Vinny Curry, lifelong Philadelphia Eagles fan. That is nice to see. As everyone else still, Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, continuing to try to catch up to the 124 sacks led by Reggie White. the GOAT. Can anyone catch it? I mean, Fletch, maybe Fletch, if you can get, double digits for the next couple seasons, but we will have to wait and see. I think that's probably safe to look at. I mean, maybe we could look at who else is getting. Rodney McLeod, not necessarily sure if he will be returning again. Let's see where he is at in terms of interceptions. We'll just take a quick look. I don't think, 12 pick. I mean, that's nothing. Rodney McLeod. Plus, he did a lot of time with the Rams. So yeah, Vinny Curry, this is your life, Vinny Curry. And you are now number 4 all-time sack leader for the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's jump ahead right now into season number 7, year 2022. Oh, shit. So what I have noticed at just this juncture, as I'm looking at signing left defensive end, Brandon Graham has retired. Brandon Graham has retired, and he finished with 89.5 sacks, which would put him as the number 2, bumping Trent Cole, number 2 all-time for Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to sacks. I mean, wish we could have given him a little bit better of a send-off, but we're going to be trying to lure in Lorenzo Carter here to be our new replacement at the left defensive end spot if we're going to be able to swing it in the books. But thank you, Brandon Graham. I mean, these old guys, they're leaving now one by one, dropping like flies. Finishing with 89.5 sacks, which puts him as the runner-up, as it stands right now, to Reggie White for the all-time sacks in Philadelphia Eagles history. So, end of an era for Vinny Curry and Brandon. All right, here we go. We are back for year number 7, 2022, coming off of back-to-back NFC Championship losses. We need to get back to that Super Bowl. We got 2 Super Bowls to our name. Let's make it 3 here in 2022. Looking at the roster, the offense stays. We've been lucky enough to keep the offense the same. Essentially, the offensive line is staying decent. It's not amazing. We see probably the average grade is about a B. We got Bergstrom here now as a backup tight end, 80 overall as Zach Ertz is getting up there in age. Big time free agency signing. At least on the offense, we were able to retain Jordan Matthews, J-Matt, 85 overall, but he has relinquished that wide receiver 1 spot now to Callaway. But him, Perriman, and Matthew, that is really, really good, especially with McCaffrey and Jordan Howard coming out of the backfield. But the defense, new look defense. We got Benny Logan, who looks like he's probably entering his last season. Vinny Curry is hanging on, but Brandon Graham decided to retire. We're able to replace him with Trombetti, the very, very talented defensive end from Notre Dame, 87 overall. We wanted to get Lorenzo Carter, who was a 91, but we couldn't swing it with the cap. Our secondary stays the same with Mills, Humphrey, and Rowe. McLeod's maybe in his last season. We got Watts here for good depth. Sua Cravens, Jordan Hicks, Zach Cunningham make up our linebacker core, and Jamal Adams is a emerging superstar. So let's see what we can do this year. This may, in terms of age, I think it's Vinny Curry, at least notable Eagles, Vinny Curry and Benny Logan. This may be their last go. Debatably, Rodney McLeod. So let's see if we can get these defensive studs a nice way to end their career. So let's go and see what we can do here in year number. All right, here we are at the end of season number 7, 2022. Oh, the Rams are back to the Super Bowl again. 12-4, yet another. Check that out. I think that's every single season, except one. Except the first time we won the Super Bowl. We have won the NFC East. I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Let's look at the playoff schedule here. It's the Jets and the Rams, back-to-back appearances for the Rams. And once again, we lose to the Rams in the NFC Championship game, which is, oh my God, 3 straight NFC Championship losses. Where have I seen this before as a Philadelphia Eagles fan? In this 30-20 drubbing. Wentz has not played well. 200 yards, 1 pass touchdown for Jared Goff's not exceptional, but Wentz has not played well. Back-to-back playoff appearances, 278, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. In terms of running the ball, Gurley ran all over our defense, 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nothing spectacular. I mean, 7 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown for Perriman. It's not bad. Defensive side of the ball, 3 sacks from Robert Quinn. That is unacceptable. Offensive line is starting to show their age a little bit. And Ogletree and Gaines getting themselves some interceptions. God. All right, let's look at the stats. As always, like 3 straight championship losses. My God. So on the year, Wentz, 4,500 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 31 sacks. Like I said, the old offensive line, we may have to look at rejuvenating that a little bit. There's a run the ball, 1,400 yards, 21 touchdowns from Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Howard got 461 and 12. In terms of receiving, we got 86 catches, 1,400 yards, and 10 touchdowns from the new true wide receiver 1 here in Philadelphia, Antonio Callaway. Perriman, 74 catches for 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jordan Matthews, 73 catches, 563 and 5. Ertz, 643 and 6. And McCaffrey, again, staying consistent as one of the better dual threat running backs in this league. On the defensive side of the ball, 127 tackles from Jordan Hicks, 101 from Cravens, 100 from Jalen Mills. Fletcher Cox, 12 sacks. Benny Logan, maybe his last season. Way to turn up, kid. 9 sacks for Benny Logan, 5 from Arden Key, 4.5 from Trubisky. For interceptions, we got 5 picks from Jalen Mills, 5 from Marlon Humphrey, 5 from Jamal Adams, 4 from Eric Rowe, and 2 from Rodney McLeod, and a couple other ones here. So, I mean, our secondary definitely balled out for us this season. Let's take a quick look here at the year-end awards. MVP went to Blake Bortles. Christian McCaffrey coming as a runner-up. We got Deshaun Watson, Sam Darnold there, Aaron Rodgers. Wentz at number 7. Oof, okay. Hey, that's not bad for Christian McCaffrey coming in at number 2. Getting a quick check at the career stats. I'm going to do this every single season now, just because we never know when guys are going to retire. I don't want to have a Brandon Graham situation here. So Wentz, a quick check. Wentz will probably break Donovan McNabb's all-time passing yard record next season. He has 247 touchdowns, so he is now the all-time touchdown leader for the Philadelphia Eagles, currently held by Donovan McNabb with 216. 247 for Wentz. He got himself that title. Looking at rushing yards, we have a new rushing yards leader. Right now, the current leader for the Philadelphia Eagles in terms of rushing yards for is, what do we got here? 6,792 is LaShawn McCoy. McCaffrey now all with the Eagles. 7,500 rushing yards, 85 touchdowns, breaking Steve Van Buren's 69 total touchdowns. So, I mean, with McCaffrey and Wentz, they're just going to, absolutely tear up the Eagles record books. In terms of receptions, Jordan Matthews has 721 of receptions. The current leader is, oh my God, just throw out the books. The current leader for receptions, 589, is Harold Carmichael. So Jordan Matthews and Zach Ertz both have been able to topple that mark. Callaway is certainly, well, not certainly, but I think Callaway will be on his way. In terms of receiving yards, the current leader is Harold Carmichael with 8,978. We now have Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews is now the all-time Philadelphia Eagles record holder for receiving yards. Ertz maybe by the end of the career, he's at season 10. Maybe we'll be able to get 2 more seasons out of Zach Ertz, and he may be able to get that number 2 spot. And in terms of touchdowns, current leader is Harold Carmichael with 79, so he still has that record. Jordan Matthews 8 away from breaking that, but we'll have to make sure we continue to see what happens there. And on the defensive side of the ball, Jordan Hicks, I guess, because Hicks and Cox are the 2 guys that have been here for the longest time. We're not going to really include Rodney McLeod. The all-time tackler in Eagles history is currently held 910 total tackles by Andre Waters. Hicks will certainly break that next season. Fletcher Cox may be able to get there before he retires. In terms of sacks, this is the big one because it's Reggie White. Reggie White has 124. Fletcher Cox has 119.5. Unless he decides to retire this year, which would be heartbreaking. I mean, it is kind of a love-hate if you want someone to finally break Reggie White's sack record, but I think if anyone should be able to do it, and I'd be all right with that happening, it would be Fletcher Cox. So hopefully we get 1 more season for Fletcher Cox, who is just essentially 4 sacks away, or 4.5 sacks away from at least tying it. This is Benny Logan's final season, I would guess. He's at 42.5 total sacks, which would put him at the number 5... Incorrect. Number 6 spot for the Eagles all time in terms of sacks. Looking at interceptions, the last big major stat, Marlon Humphrey has 20 and Mills has 18. Both these guys have spent the entirety of their careers with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be, kind of tough. Brian Dawkins currently is leading all time with 34. I'm going to say we may not have a player that can break that. We're going to try our best to keep Humphrey and Mills together for the entirety of this series. And in terms of kicking, I don't know, for those that care, what do we got? I mean, we got Parkey trying to catch up with Akers, but she's going to have to go a little bit long. We're going to need Parkey to play for another 5 seasons to catch up with David Akers. So we're going to get rid of that one. I don't think Parkey is going to be able to break that for all-time scoring. But there we go. We had a couple new record holders. Fletcher Cox is the one to watch next season if he decides to return for another year as we get ready for season number 8 of the Philadelphia Eagles Connected franchise mode. All right, here we are back for season number 8, 2023. And what have we done here today? Everything maintains about the same. On the offensive side of the ball, Lane Johnson, he's getting real old. We're able to bring in Martez Ivey, who was the big free agency acquisition, 88 overall right guard from the University of Florida. We were able to still hold on. I think everyone else we had in terms of contracts, we had to bring back R. Jones, the old Ron Jones III, the guy we drafted from USC. He was a free agent, but everything on the offensive side of the ball was good. Fletcher Cox was an impending free agent. Best believe we're bringing him back. We got him on a 2-year deal, so that's good for at least this season. Obviously, he should be able to break that Reggie White record and become the all-time sack leader in Eagles history. He plays 2 years. Oof. I don't think he's going to break Reggie White's 200. No, Reggie White has 199. I think Bruce Smith has 200, but we can see where we go. We got Logan back for 1 year, which is kind of surprising. We have Humphrey and Mills back at the cornerback spot. Pat Pete was an available free agent, but I want to keep these two guys as my starters, and everything else essentially stays the same. We got a great draft pick here in Vega, 80 overall. Safeties are, we're looking good at the safety spot, but outside of that, decent team, not a spectacular team. Don't know where we go. Hopefully, it's not another NFC Championship loss. That's all I can say. Let's see where we're at come playoff time. So we are at the end of year number 8, and does not look like another playoff spot. I'm actually kind of hoping we didn't make it to the NFC Championship just to lose once again. Let's see what happens. 13-3. Again, another NFC East title. I mean, how many is that? That's a record. Right now, the current thing is like there hasn't been a team that's won back-to-back NFC titles in quite some time. Well, at least we've been able to best that. Let's just look at the team schedule. What happens in the playoffs? One and done. I think the last time we were 1 and done was against the Carolina Panthers as well. We lost in a shootout, 37-31. What happened in this game? Cam Newton, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Wentz finally had a good playoff performance, 358 and 1. There's a running the ball. McCaffrey, 98 yards. Saquon Barkley for the Panthers, 85 yards and a touchdown. There's receiving. Zach Ertz, big game from the veteran, 12 catches for 174 yards. Defensive side of the ball, we got 13 tackles from Kuechly. We got 2 sacks from Gordon, 1 from Trombetti. No picks. It was a clean game, but unfortunately losing 1 and done. Kind of sucks. At least we're keeping the playoff streak alive, I guess. Let's take a look here at the stats and see where we're at. See if our boy Fletch did what we pretty much expected him to do. Wentz on the year, 4,600 passing yards, 42 touchdowns, and 14 picks. The sacks are down. They were getting up around that 30 number. Seeing that at 17 makes me very happy. They're to run the ball, 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns from Christian McCaffrey, 465 and 7 from Ronald Jones. There's receiving. We got 104 catches, 1,300 yards, and 9 touchdowns from Antonio Callaway. 98 catches for 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns from Zach Ertz. 87 catches, 745, and 4 from Jordan Matthews, 859, and 7 from Perriman, 290, and 7 from McCaffrey. Look at our 2 running backs here, getting 13 total touchdowns. I'll take that every day of the week. Defensive side of the ball, Jordan Hicks with 135 tackles. Oh, shit. Fletcher Cox only got 2.5 sacks. That is not enough to get the record. If he retires this year, he's going to be short. We got 6 sacks from Trombetti. We got 4 picks from Humphrey, 2 from Hicks, 2 from Jamal Adams. But that is what we want to see right now. Career stats. The 124 is the number for Reggie White. And Fletcher Cox is at 122. Oh, they are going to try to force that. 1 more season is what we need. 2.5 sacks, though, is incredibly disappointing from a 99 overall Fletcher Cox. Benny Logan's up to 44.5 sacks. That's still, he's still chilling at that number 6 spot. But that's going to be a storyline. If Fletcher Cox, we signed him back on a 2-year deal. But is he going to return past that? We're going to have to wait and see. At least for total tackles, Jordan Hicks has now supplanted Andre Waters for the leading tackler in Eagles history with 990. Fletcher Cox is number 3 on that list with 902. Needs 11 more tackles to move into that number 2 spot. I guess he has more tackles than Reggie White. Reggie White finished with 794. Cox with 902. But I really do hope, just for the importance of this Connected Franchise Mode series, that we can get, maybe tying would be kind of cool, but 3 sacks next year from Fletcher Cox. Hopefully he doesn't retire. That will be a little bit disappointing if he decides to do that. Looking at the final yearly awards here. MVP went to Carson Wentz, his 2nd MVP award. McCaffrey coming in at number 4. Look at this goddamn, everyone thought it was going to be Wentz versus Dak, but what it really is Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning. We also got, Will Greer from the Chargers, Deshaun Watson, Zeke. I mean, all the young guys here are performing very, very well, but not a great start in Season 8. We didn't get the sack record. We didn't even fucking make a conference championship to lose it. So let's go ahead here to season number 9 in 2024. All right, here we go. We are here for year number 9 in 2024. Can we do something and make the playoffs once again? I mean, let's be honest. We've won the goddamn NFC East so many times. It's pretty much automatic. So let's get back to the Super Bowl. Come on, for the Gipper here. So looking at the offense, some things have changed. I think we may be getting to the last year of Jordan Matthews and Zach Ertz. I have a feeling they're going to retire at the same time. Speaking of retirement, Lane Johnson decided to retire, so we were able to bring in Cornelius as a free agent. He's at 80 overall. That's pretty much it in terms of signings of whoever we're going to get on the offense. On the defense side of the ball, Fletcher Cox has returned to get, what do we need? 3 sacks to be the all-time sack leader for the Philadelphia Eagles. Benny Logan has decided to retire, so he finished with 44.5 sacks. Great serviceman. We were able to re-sign Jalen Mills, who was our big free agency guy. In terms of that, we got him and Humphrey still continuing to battle it. I don't think any one of these guys is going to catch the 34 interception mark to break a record. Linebacker, we already have the new all-time leader in tackles here in Jordan Hicks. But our linebacking core is looking a little weak right now, a little thin. Weren't able to draft particularly well at the linebacker spot. Same goes with the depth here at defensive tackle. We're going with a 69. That is not that great. We're starting to get a little frail here, everybody. But as long as Carson Wentz and Christian McCaffrey can continue to absolutely dominate, we may be fine. So let's see what happens here in season number 9, the penultimate season for this Philadelphia Eagles Connected franchise mode. So here we are at the end of year number 9, and again, I don't know, I think our window has kind of closed here. We have one more season left to go for the 10-year simulation, but another miss here. Looks like it might have been a down year. Still winning the NFC East, 10-6, but you can see that we are a little bit on the downturn for our team's schedule. In the postseason, oh my god, we got body bag there. 1 and done once again, losing 56-21 against the New Orleans Saints. I think they have Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, so he probably got bodied there. Oh my god, Baker Mayfield, 316 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. This isn't the Toronto House Connected franchise, but where the hell is that stat line coming from? Wentz, not so hot, 226, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Here's to run the ball. This guy, the Marriott Hotel, 71 yards, 1 touchdown receiving. Callaway had a decent game there. Brandon Cook still doing his thing here for the New Orleans Saints. And the defensive side of the ball, Hicks with 11 tackles. We got a sack from Cravens, a sack from Trumbetti, and a pick from Riley Bulla, and Iman Marshall from USC. So unfortunately, this Super Bowl, it did not happen for us here in Philadelphia. But let's look at the stats. I guess that's pretty much what this is now coming to. On the year, Carson Wentz, 4,300 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Running the ball, we got 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns from Christian McCaffrey, 366 and 6 from Ronald Jones. There's a receiving yards, 102 catches, 1,400 yards, and 14 touchdowns for Antonio Callaway. 77 catches, 674 and 4 from Jordan Matthews, 934 and 8 from Perryman, 664 and 2 from Zach Ertz. And on the defensive side of the ball, Hicks, a monster season for the old man. He's now an old man with 158 total tackles and 4 interceptions. On the sacks front, Arden Key 9.5, but Fletcher Cox getting 8.5. We'll take a look at the stats to make it official, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles, Reggie White is now number 2 to Mr. Fletcher Cox. 7 sacks from Trumbetti. In terms of receptions, 5 from Jamal Adams, 4 from Hicks, 4 from Jalen Mills, 3 from Vega, and 2 from Marlon Humphrey. Looking at the final awards, the yearly awards, we got Baker Mayfield got the MVP. Wentz coming in at number 3. Darius Geis, Goff, a couple guys here. Bo Scarborough was there as well. Let's look at the career stats. So Wentz is well on his way. I'm actually going to check out Wentz compared to the actual record. Same goes for McCaffrey. He must be getting up there on that official list. In terms of receiving yards, Matt, Jesus Christ. A couple of these guys we're going to have to check out. Great for Zach Ertz, 844 receptions, almost 10,000 yards. I don't know if we're going to get another year out of Ertz, but if this is these guys' 2 final stat lines, they're very, very good. 885, 11,000 yards, and 79 touchdowns from Jordan Matthews, finally tying Harold Carmichael for the most in Eagles history. I don't know if he's going to play for one more year. I have a feeling he may come back for one more season to try to break that record. Ertz, on the other hand, 1 more year experience. This may be the final ride for Ertz, but totally respectable. 844 yards, 9,000 receiving yards, 844 catches, sorry, 9,000 receiving yards, and 54 touchdowns. Callaway is interesting. I don't know if he necessarily will catch up to Jordan Matthews, but we will see. I may do a little backtrack and see after the 10-year simulation. If you guys want, I may do one more episode just to see what happens with all these remaining guys when they retire. I guess I'll leave that question at the end of the video. But 614 catches, 7,000 yards, and 52 touchdowns for him. Perryman's doing really well since he came here to Philadelphia. McCaffrey, I mean, he's been an all-purpose monster. Defensive side of the ball, 1,100 total tackles here from Jordan Hicks, 992 from Fletcher Cox. So now we have number 1 and number 2 for total tackles. And number 1 in Eagles history for sacks is Mr. Fletcher Cox with 130 and a half interceptions, 26 from Humphrey, 23 from Mills. Maybe Humphrey might have a chance. I think Humphrey might have 3 more seasons worth of a starter, and he only needs, what do you need, 8 more picks? That is somewhat doable. Maybe Mills is on the outside looking in. But let's look at, I want to look at records here. Do we have anyone eclipsing on these lists? So for career passing yards, we still got a little bit of ways to go here with Carson Wentz. Touchdowns, I think we might be able to get onto this next season. Rushing yards, there's no one here. Gurley here, I guess we can probably look through these as, we'll do this for the next season since a lot of these guys aren't retiring yet. But maybe let's look at receiving yards. Does Jordan Matthews find his way on here? Nope. Touchdowns, nope, definitely not. Catches, definitely not. Sacks, maybe Fletch. Oh, Fletcher Cox just missing out here. May be able to get back into it when all's said and done, but we will have to wait and see. But look, there's the GOAT, Reggie White, with 198. J.J. Watt, if he's still around, that's pretty terrifying. He may be able to catch up there, but we will check back after the end of next season, which will be the official last season of the sim in year number 10. There we go. Fletcher Cox deciding to retire. Get a nice little image there for Fletch. I mean, GOAT. He's the GOAT. Gold jacket? Hall of Fame? You think he's going to the Hall of Fame? Von Miller decided to retire as well, but damn straight that when Von Miller and Fletcher Cox decide to retire, Fletcher Cox gets the main goddamn story, alright? Telling you that. I don't care if it's suggested for me. Fletch is the GOAT. And who we are talking about another. Look at these news stories. Number 1, Canes new class, Fletcher Cox and Von Miller going there. Also, story number 2, Jeffrey Lurie has found himself into the Hall of Fame. So 2 Eagles going in it this year as we are now here in season number 10, 2025. Can we get to the Super Bowl? Can we do what we want to do and finish with 3 Super Bowls out of the 10-year simulation? We're going to try a goddamn best, led by Fletcher Cox's memory, but the shoulders of Carson Wentz. So here we are at the conclusion of season 10. Oh, what happened? What happened? Oh, we didn't even win the division. What? Coming in second, the Giants finally topping us. They went 12-4. We went 11-5. Let's see what happened down the stretch here for the team schedule. Did we even make the Super Bowl? Oh, we lost to the Giants in the divisional playoffs. That means the Giants potentially went on to the Super Bowl. We were at least able to get a little bit of revenge over the Rams, who have struggled us in the last couple seasons. We had 36-35, but losing 31-21 to the Giants. Oh, Wentz oh my God, come on, Carson. You gotta play better than that. Browning topping Carson Wentz. Running ball pretty stagnant, to be honest. Callaway 11 catches, 142 yards. Defensive side of the ball. I mean, we have no more Fletcher Cox, so I mean, it was always gonna be tough to get back to that Super Bowl. Darius Slay, who we brought in, not bad. But this is the final year. Jesus, come on. So I guess what we will do here is we'll look at the season stats. Might as well. On the year, Carson Wentz finished with 4,600 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Good year for Wentz. Christian McCaffrey, almost 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, 540 and 11 from Ronald Jones. And the receiving yards, Zach Ertz is still here, clanging and banging in a big-time way. 97 catches, 1,100 yards, and 7 touchdowns for the old man. Zach Ertz still putting in work, trying to catch up to. And I'm actually might have to take a look here at what his stats are in terms of all-time records for tight ends. I'm gonna Google that shit. as we continue to look through. Callaway had 85 catches, 1,100 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Okay, let's go all-time tight end stats on NFL just to get that real close. We got Mooney, who we brought in as a free agent, 720 yards, 6 touchdowns. Jordan Matthews, in what maybe his last season, 71 catches, 887 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Very respectable season for him as he now surplants Harold Carmichael for all-time touchdown receptions in Eagles history. I think now he'd be sitting at, I think it'd be 88? 88, 87? 87. It'd be 87 total touchdowns. On the defense side of the ball, Jordan Hicks once again, 124 tackles. He is a machine. On the sacks front, 11.5 from Trumbetti. Oh my God, they're getting thin here. We're getting thin. Arden Key has not turned out to be a great pick. Let's be completely honest. For interceptions, we got 5 from Gene, 4 from Humphrey, 4 from Jalen Mills, 3 from Jamal Adams, 2 from Jordan Hicks, 2 from Darius Slay. So let's see quickly where we're at in terms of career stats. That's not what I want. I want to see NFL stats by player position. That could be all right. Do we have all time? I know what he called. Let's just do this. Tony Gonzalez has like all the goddamn stats. So let's see what Tony Gonzalez finished with in terms of stats and see where our boy Zach Ertz is in comparison to Tony Gonzalez, just for the sake of this video. So Tony Gonzalez finished with 1,300 receptions. Ertz is way off. He finished with 15,000 yards. Ertz is way off. And he finished with 111 touchdowns. Ertz is way off. But still, very good season or career at least for Zach Ertz. 941 catches, 10,000 yards, and 61 touchdowns. Jordan Matthews, 956, 12,000 yards, and 87 touchdowns. We got, McCaffrey is, might be on the short list there. 134 touchdowns. Mother of God. Wentz is now surely finding his way onto that list. So let's just look here now that we did that comparison at the NFL records, where we're at in terms of passing yards. Did Wentz get on this yet? What is he at? 45? Oh, he's got to play a little bit longer than that. Passing touchdowns? Anyone? Let's actually see if anyone has, any new guys have supplanted themselves on this list, as this is the final episode, but we'll stick around to the end because there will be some voting on that. So Drew Brees now is the all-time leader in passing yards. We got Aaron Rodgers at number 4. We have Ben Roethlisberger number 5, Ryan number 6, Brady number 7, Eli Manning number 9, and Rivers number 10. Passing touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers now has that record, 546. Mother of God. Russell Wilson surprisingly made the list at 393. Rushing yards, Le'Veon Bell is now the all-time leader. Thank God, because Emmitt Smith needed to get toppled. I'm going to pad my stats. Giovanni Bernard, 17,000 rushing yards. Number 3 all-time. That is a head-scratcher. AP number 4. Todd Gurley here, 16,000. Freeman, 15,000. Zeke and Rawls. So I'd say Rawls, but for sure, Giovanni Bernard being the 3rd all-time leading rusher in NFL history is very surprising. Rushing touchdowns, TJ Yeldon is close. I don't know if he's retired or not, but look at that. Only 8 away from breaking Emmitt Smith's record. Bell here, AP, Bernard. Christian McCaffrey, there we go. We're finally getting some Eagles respect here at 134. Maybe, if he plays for another couple more seasons, might be able to come up and catch up to that. We will wait and see. Receiving yards, Allen Robinson is number 2 now all-time with 16,000. Hopkins here, 15,000. Antonio Brown. Receiving touchdowns, Gronkowski is number 4 here with 138. Brandon Cooks, 115, making the list. Des Bryant and Larry Fitzgerald. In terms of catches, Gronk is number 3 all-time in catches with 1,195. My God, Tony Gonzalez is a beast. Brown, Hopkins, Cooks is there. Kind of surprising to see that. Defensive sacks, J.J. Watt retired. Must have retired here with 181. Aaron Donald's here with 180. But I think Bruce Smith and Reggie White should be safe. Justin Houston, 154. Cameron Jordan, 147. Peppers here at 142. Interceptions, I don't think anyone. Richard Sherman, 64. Hey, he's there. At least there's someone there. So, that does it for the Philadelphia Eagles Connected Franchise Mode. We got 10 seasons overall. Let's do a quick recap. 2016, NFC Championship, lost. 2017, Playoffs, one and done. 2018 Super Bowl victory. 2019 Super Bowl victory. Back to back. 2020 Season 5 NFC Championship defeat. Season 6 NFC Championship defeat. Season 7 NFC Championship defeat. And Season 8, 9, one and done. Season 10 losing in the divisional round. So one thing we did notice and can take away, on top of 2 MVPs for Carson Wentz so far, is that we made the playoffs every year, baby. Won the NFC East 8 out of 10 seasons. I think we have done a very, very formidable job here for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I look forward to continuing this series in Madden 18. If you guys are upset, you're like, oh, why is this ending? 2 things to leave on a note on. 1, Huskies franchise now will be going full-fledged. That will be the primary series on this channel. We also have the NCAA 14 Road to Glory, which we are importing NCAA Rookie for the Madden 18 story mode. Only place you're going to see that stuff on YouTube is here on Beast Mode TV. And the last parting point is, do you guys want me to do just another episode down the line? It might be out like this weekend, maybe next week, just to sim until Carson Wentz retires, to see where him, you got him, Antonio Callaway, and realistically Christian McCaffrey, where are they going to finish in terms of stats? I can certainly take another check back and simulate that just to up to a win. Wentz retires, most importantly, and see where he finishes along the annals of history. McCaffrey maybe might be able to get that all-time touchdown record. Who knows? But if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section below, and we could do maybe a nice little revision episode here. I don't know, a shitty reunion special. If this is the finale, that would be the shitty reunion special. But if you guys want to see it, let me know. But thank you all for watching. If this is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, it is C4 saying peace out.